to get started to see which one can be the most retarded. Tinfoil haters, it's time to start the show. Tinfoil haters, it's time to start the show. Tinfoil haters, don't tell them what to say. Tinfoil haters are here to save the day. Sammy are about to get started to see which one can be the most retarded. Tinfoil haters, it's time to start the show. Tinfoil haters, it's time to start the show.
Welcome back to another episode of Tinfoil Haters. How are all you vital idols doing? Oh my god, it has been so long since I feel like we've been able to do a proper episode of TFH. Not that I don't enjoy doing the ghost reaction videos, I do. I love them. But breaking down actual conspiracies, seeing if we can debunk it, seeing how much of it's true, all that good shit, that is the reason for this show. So we're getting back to the stuff that your boy loves. I even had to break out the Roswell Invaders shirt. It's been so long. I see Sammy over here rocking our own merch, our Mothman shirt. Shout out Santiago. Thank you for the sub. Guys, we got a good goddamn episode for you today. One that we've been promising for like a couple months now, have we not? The Dark Pyramid under Alaska. And the research for this was awesome because, and I didn't tell you guys this backstage, I want to see reactions live. I found something in this theory that I don't know if I'm the first one to ever find it, but I've not seen a single other person in the history of this conspiracy theory notice this or bring this up.
Oh, I am curious.
We could be the first channel on this entire godforsaken platform to figure out, to come up with a new angle for this entire conspiracy.
Do tell.
I'll get to it when we get to it. But I can't do it alone. I got my partner in crime over here with me, Sammy 3P. Tell the people who you are and what you do.
I'm Sammy 3P. I'm a Detroit-based musician who also does stuff on the interwebs. So like me at Sammy 3P on most platforms. I'm not doing Kick anymore. It's a dead cause.
Hey.
Unless
You say so. It took me about a year, but I'm actually pulling traction on Kick now. Like, for example, we got a few kickers in the chat right now, so shout out to you guys. We'll get to you in a moment. And of course, what about our lovely big titty dragon goddess Sinevere, who has no fucking idea what we're talking about today? She comes in blind as always and is just here for the ride.
Yeah, pretty much. I learned a lot on these shows, and they're quite fun. But guys, I'm Sinevere. I like to talk about anime and gaming, and on the occasion, a little bit of horror. And I feel like this falls under that particular category because it's kind of scary, the shit that we learn. But yeah, I really look forward to these Tuesdays.
We definitely are going to learn some scary shit on this one, but the question is what kind of scary, because there's a few different levels of it. Before we do, first of all, Granola Grin came in with a gifted membership. Shout out Granola Grin. He hit Fantasia 74. Appreciate you, homie. You didn't need to, you did. It means the absolute world to me. Let's go ahead and give you a clip. And I think the biggest conspiracy, I think the biggest conspiracy would be as to whether or not this is a true statement. It's the only time simping's okay is if it's for your wife. You can simp for your wife.
If you're cheating. If you're cheating, it's okay.
Yeah, hurry here first. Simping is only okay if you're cheating.
So if he starts simping for you, you know what's going on.
Right?
Was that me, a vagabond behind you?
Yes, it was. Have you not seen that clip before?
No.
That's you and Vagabond behind us.
That's funny.
We got Clip 420 in the house. How you doing? That Darno Taku is here. Jackass G22 is what's up. Alfredo Chorizo. Michael Vargas is here. Dokuman. I got a conspiracy itch, and I'm formally requesting for it to be scratched. He got a fever, and the only prescription is more dot pyramids under Alaska. Matt Stanford is up in this bitch. Zach Fox is here. How you doing, Zachy boy? Brew, Alex Darby. Antarctic American Pyramid? No, but I do know that conspiracy theory as well. The Antarctic Pyramid. I don't think there's enough information one way or the other for me to have conclusive thoughts on that. I've done research into that one. It's hard to say one way or the other. Eagle Lords is Crapcon being Crapcon. If you heard that in modding communities, yes, that video that Sevi did, I'm sure it's an incredible video. We'll be reacting to that video on tomorrow's show. So if you guys want to hear my thoughts on Sevi's thoughts about what's going on in the gaming industry with the modding community, that ain't what this show is about. This is our conspiracy show. I'll be reacting to that tomorrow. We got Crovax. How you doing, Crovax? Yandere Yams is here. Amanda is up in this bitch. Johnny Boy, Soul Assassin. Shout out to Soul Assassin. The Mad Hatter is here. Nick Havoc. Jake motherfucking Martin. How you doing, Jake? Of course, over on the kick side, we got our boy Devil in Red representing. Shout out Devil in Red. Again, thank you so much, Granola Grin. Mr. Tech Rat is up in this bitch. Mage Wolf is here. The Chud King. The Polybius bit is one of my favorite bits in that entire intro. Like,
Yes.
It's the Polybius, because me and Sammy covered Polybius like the second or third episode of this show ever. Cindy wasn't even part of the show yet, which is like, well, if Cindy's not here, then we've got to make her being the one playing the game.
I just love how it looks like we're trying to like warn her and she's yelling at us. Like,
Right, exactly. That was
You
my
do better.
thought when I was going through making that. That was my thought. We got the true Aztec warrior up in this bitch. Lithium representing over on Kick. As my partner in crime, Cindy, do you have the Kick side up?
I do. I'm keeping an
Excellent.
eye on
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
The Rockin' Hound Dog is here. My man with a plan. Shout out to the Rockin' Hound Dog. Golden Apples. Maldi is here over on Kick again. So you say Kick ain't worth it. We got Lithium Lex Eterna calling you the common musician. Now I won't lie. I feel like half my success on Kick is attributed to being friends with Cindy and being at least acquaintances with Leaflet. So there is that. Let's see who else we got. I know
But
there's more on
persistence
here.
is still key on it.
Persistence is absolutely still key. Yes, correct. We got the straight Sith male up in this bitch. Marluxian is here. I think, is that everybody? Justin F. Justin is here. What's up, Justin? Trauma Tuna. Shout out to our boy Trauma Tuna. Piplup Stars Commander. You'll love to see it. Trauma Tuna also representing over on X. And then Jake motherfucking Martin coming in with 5 gifted Words of Paradise memberships. Who else you hit? You hit Maldi. You hit Dracula VA, Mr. Johnny H, Zelozy, and Cyfax. No, Zelozy just commented. Never mind. He was already a member on his own. And Olivia Charlebois. Shout out to Jake. You didn't need to. You did. Jake, the father-to-be. You'll love to see it. Everybody give us a big, good old congratulations to Jake in the comments. Zelozy is here. Janice Landers, how you doing? Cindy will, of course, be talking to you guys in the comments. And suck my dick. Jake, we got to give you a clip, man. We got to give you a clip. And given how this is about to be a very dystopian and at some points maybe even liminal episode, this one's for you. Alrighty, that's the intros. It is time to start the show. 57 you watching on YouTube, 78 across platforms. I think it's time we get into it.
Shut up. You have a gifty over on Kick.
A
from
gifty
Devil in
over
Red.
on Kick. Well,
Mhm.
tell me, Miss Producer, who is the gifty from?
It's from Devil in Red.
Devil in Red, you
Yeah.
absolute devil you are. This is for you, brother.
Plan B! This is for everyone you've killed! England murderer!
Hold your fire! This man isn't black!
I have no idea if Devil in Red is black or not, but I'm just going to assume he is not. I'm going to assume he's using Kick. He's probably not black. Alrighty. Let's get into it. Is there anything either of y'all need to cover or get off your chest before we get into the meat and potatoes?
I
He's
mean,
Japanese.
He's
I believe it.
oh
I'm
really?
going to choose to believe it. And
That's
also,
pretty
it does make sense he'd be using Kick. They all know like Kung Fu and shit.
You're retarded. Oh, goodness.
Alrighty. So I figured I can introduce the show. I can introduce the conspiracy. Or
They know karate.
whatever.
The
Whatever.
Kung Fu.
We're gonna play this short. This is what was posted in the Discord today, and I was going through. I was figuring out like what are we gonna cover. I know we can do the dark pyramids, but there's a lot of stuff we haven't covered yet. But someone had posted this little short in the Discord, and it doesn't begin to cover it. So I feel like this is a nice little amuse-bouche, a little appetizer into what's going on.
The rumor is that there is like a top secret energy source hidden in the Alaska Triangle, which people have been calling the Dark Pyramid. Now, this pyramid is allegedly 4 times the size of the Great Pyramid of Giza, and allegedly so powerful and so secret that the government has scrubbed it from satellite images entirely. So one man named Nathan Campbell, he actually attempted to find the pyramid. So back in 2020, he hired a charter plane to drop him off as close to the coordinates of the pyramid as he could get. So, they fly out there, and on May 27th, 2020, Nathan was dropped off and he was feeling confident. But by mid-June, Nathan's family stopped getting his satellite texts, and he was never seen again. But they did find Nathan's journal. In the last entry, he said that he was leaving to get water. And that was it.
Muted.
And that is pretty much everything we have to go off of for the intro. Now, there's obviously a whole lot more to this. It wouldn't be worth covering if it was just one dude goes missing in Alaska, because let's be real, people go missing in Alaska all the time. But before we actually get into the conspiracy proper, I do want to give a good shout out to our boy Ryder Sailway. Hey, Words, if you played Pragmata yet, because I recently picked it up, I'm going to be streaming it this coming Friday. Well, shout out. I hope everybody shows up to watch that. I have not played it. I have it, but I was gifted a slew of games last week. Pragmata, Mouse PI. I mean, I wasn't gifted Mouse PI last week. That was gifted a while ago. The point is, I was gifted like 11 games on a single stream. So I don't know when I'm going to get a Pragmata. I was watching Sevi play it last night, and it seems like a lot of fun. It's incredibly adorable. So I know about the first hour or so worth of story and gameplay stuff. But shout out. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. I will be playing it. I just don't know when. This is for you.
I'm on HIV medication and I want Leon to rail me.
Alrighty. Look at all these base boys. You love to see it. Shout out, Camelot. Now, here's the dealio. Going off that, hey, there's this mysterious Bermuda Triangle style area but in Alaska. Have either of you guys ever heard of this? Do you believe something like that could be real? What do you think before I pull up the actual conspiracy?
I'd heard things of it, but not, I didn't go on the deep dive that I went on today. So nothing, I heard just as much about that as I had in the pyramids in Antarctica and stuff like that, where it's just like, oh, all right, another pyramid. Cool. Got it.
And I'm just going to take a wild guess that, Cindy, you ain't heard shit.
Damn, you know me too well. I did not know that there was a pyramid in Alaska. What the fuck?
Well, we don't know if there is or isn't. That is the conspiracy itself. Does this pyramid even exist? So here's the gist. Dark pyramids under Alaska. There's a black pyramid buried deep in the underground, the Alaskan wilderness, somewhere between Nome and Mount McKinley, which Mount McKinley deserves its own video. It is a very interesting place. Exactly twice the size of the Great Pyramid at Giza, itself the tallest known human-made structure for nearly 3,800 years. The Dark Pyramid is guarded by the U.S. military or by a mysterious private militia that strictly controls access to the site. It's alien technology or remnant of a lost human civilization and generates its own energy, which may or may not be electricity. Regardless, it's estimated to be enough power to enough to power the entire state of Alaska or the entire nation of Canada. Now, I call bullshit on this because there's no such thing as Canada. Canada doesn't exist. Canada is the Australia of North America. It doesn't exist.
Snokexico.
What?
Snokexico.
Snokexico. There we go. Indescribably ancient, or a lost invention of Nikola Tesla. Not correct at all. They're mixing a couple conspiracies here. It is not a lost invention of Nikola Tesla. It was discovered in the closing months of World War II, or 1949, or 1992. You notice how there's a lot of discrepancies here.
Yes.
We're going to address some of those. And honestly, if you can't find a game hiding somewhere around its perfectly square base, we just don't have much to talk about. Despite its supposedly ancient provenance, evidence of the Black Pyramid's existence didn't appear until July 26th of 2012, when reporter and cattle mutilation expert Linda Moulton Howe announced this discovery on a late night conspiracy radio talk show, Coast to Coast AM. Now, everyone knows of Coast to Coast AM. In fact, we probably wouldn't have this show without Coast to Coast AM because of the famous Art Bell, except this is 2012. This is out after Art Bell retired. But I do want y'all to focus on that name, right? I do want you to remember Linda Moulton Howe. Moulton Howe. I'm not sure how you pronounce her last name. She is a very key player in this. She's a very interesting individual. We'll get to her, but yeah, agreed. Subaru, R.I.P. Art Bell. But yeah, just that name is important, so remember it. That evening, Moulton Howe broadcast a pre-recorded interview with Doug Mutschler, a retired U.S. Army counterintelligence warrant officer who provided many of the initial facts, those are sarcastic quotes, about the pyramid and first alleged the site's current connection with the U.S. military. Now, we'll get to that. I did listen to the entire interview with Doug Mutschler. It's about 33-ish minutes long. And it is interesting. We're not gonna listen to it here. We're gonna cover some key points about the interview here. But it's definitely interesting. According to Mutschler, geologists had used the detonation to undertake a so he's talking. Okay, so I guess I should read this part. On May 22nd, 1992, China carried out an underground nuclear test in Lumpur, detonating a 1 megaton device under the desert of northwest China, and was at first thought to be a major earthquake when detected by seismologists. According to Mutschler, geologists had used detonation to undertake a seismographic study of the Earth's crust, only to find a pyramid structure larger than Chops underground, somewhere west of Mount McKinley. Mutschler recalls that the local NBC affiliate ran a story announcing the structure's discovery about 6 months after the detonation, but when Mutschler attempted to follow up with the station to get a copy of the story, evidently not as part of his duties for Fort Richardson, they denied the story had ever run, asserted they certainly didn't have a copy to provide Mutschler, and then called relatives to track down copies of the story that had run on other stations, but apparently none had. The discovery only appeared on Anchorage's Channel 13, in case we need to add some numerological significance to the whole thing. Even leaving aside the entire ancient mega pyramid angle, Mutschler's story is practically dripping with RPG inspiration. The easy route is to include... So, and again, this is how to turn it into a tabletop RPG. That's what this website does. But it was actually one of the best retellings of the conspiracy, which is why I went with this particular website, because this has been covered to fucking death. It gets better. The indefatigable Mutschler was transferred from Alaska to Fort Meade, the ultra-secret home of National Security Agency, where he availed himself to classified archives, seemingly confirming the pyramid story. I thought maybe they'd have something about this pyramid, so I went to what I guess would be like a librarian. I asked him if he had anything on the archaeological sites. I didn't say pyramid, but I said archaeological sites or underground facilities in Alaska. He said, well, we do. It might be in container X, Y, or Z. So I went over there. I was just looking around. Didn't really find anything saying pyramid, but I grabbed a couple of Alaska from like 2 different safes. I just had to set those down. And these 2 guys came, and you could feel when someone's standing behind you. These 2 goons go, hey, you don't have the need to know for that information. And the other guy somehow in the conversation goes, they don't want us messing up with them anymore. They don't want you messing with them there. They don't want anybody messing with them. The morning after Moulton Howe's interview with Mutschler, however, things get really weird. Inspired by Mutschler's dogged by ultimately only partially successful search, the adopted son of retired Western Electric engineer reached out to Moulton Howe to confirm the basics of Mutschler's claims and to add several new wrinkles. Moulton Howe's new source claimed that his father had worked on a powerful electrical system emanating from a very large underground pyramid of unknown origin in Alaska between 1959 and 1961. Now, we're not going to focus too much on what was told to Howe for this stuff because, frankly, I don't find them to be credible sources, but that is the gist of it. So now you've got the idea of what we've got going on here. Questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks?
Seems like they really don't want him going to this area in Alaska. Can't imagine why that would be.
Well, there's a lot of different theories as to why that would be. Cindy, do you want to try your hand at some of those?
I have no idea.
Also, I do have a comment. We were just okay with China just doing underground nuclear testing.
Yeah,
we actually weren't. And that is one of the things that we'll go ahead and bring it up. We'll go back to the pyramid then. We'll bring the China stuff up now since you do mention it. We weren't okay with that. Neither was the UN. We were tracking these nuclear explosions that were happening at Lop Nor This
Holy
is
shit.
all real. This is all verifiable. They really did detonate a megaton or 10 megaton, whatever it was, in the middle of the desert, and it actually did register on the seismograph technology or whatever the fuck it would be. I'm not a goddamn geologist. The point is, it did register on because we have military bases in Alaska, and the people that are doing the studies and the scientists and whatnot there did feel the effects of this nuclear bomb being detonated in China. So the theory is that because of basically there was a weird reading on the tech they were using for monitoring the Alaskan wilderness and whatnot, which is what allowed them to find this pyramid.
They found it through seismic activity.
Exactly. So that's at least the bombing part is real. The UN was not happy about it. China was like, "Oh shit, our bad, sorry guys," but it's China. They didn't give an actual fuck. So yeah, that's and China had actually apparently been doing this from about the 70s through the 90s. So a solid 25 years. Some accounts even said they started in the late 60s. So 25 to 35 years of China doing these, bomb testings. They just didn't have one big enough for it to register in Alaska until 92 when this would have happened. So, all that being said, since Cindy apparently has no idea, Sammy, do you have any guesses as to why people would show up in black suits and try and impede Mutschler's investigation into this pyramid if we are to assume it exists?
Because they already knew it was there and they don't want anyone going there.
Well, yeah, but what? That's the obvious shit. They showed up, so obviously they know it's there. What could be going on there?
Oh, I mean, a wide variety of things. There could be a base there. There could be kind of like what we were talking about with those what are those orbs in Siberia? Just some unexplained tech. Remnants of an old civilization that they don't want public. There's tons of stuff.
And there's also the very obvious, which the one that Ion described too, but the obvious one, aliens. Down UFO. So, but those are several of the predominant theories. Yeah, military bases. This is where we meet up with the aliens. Which, to be fair, there's also some shit like that at Mount Shasta.
Where they're keeping all the lime sweethearts before they switched them out for green apple.
And then ancient. My personal favorite theory is the ancient civilization theory. So yeah, the point is, and of course, there is the limitless power that supposedly this pyramid generates. In fact, and we haven't done Project Stargate yet, so I don't want to get too deep into the Project Stargate connections with this, but several of the Project Stargate remote viewers supposedly were able to remote view into a black pyramid. Now, they never specified it was in Alaska, but they did, say they were in a black pyramid that was either home to aliens or some sort of ancient civilization, something like that. So, but I don't want to get too deep because we will do a Project Stargate episode eventually because I do believe in Project Stargate. I think first of all, it did happen. But I believe some of the more kooky aspects of it. Whether I believe in this one or not, I'm not really going to say much on one way or the other until we get closer to the end. But I do want to point out some interesting statistics about Alaska. So when we watched that little short video at the beginning, what was it about besides like the Bermuda Triangle of Alaska? What was one of the big key points?
That
you guys remember?
It was taken off the grid that you can't even find it.
But isn't that kind of normal for these kind of situations? Like they
correct. You guys aren't focusing on the right part. What was she talking about near the end of that short?
He was never heard from again.
Bingo, bongo. There was that dude who chartered a helicopter there, and he went missing. Now,
I just thought he was like the Grizzly Man.
Well, here's an interesting fun fact about Alaska. Why over 20,000 people have vanished in the Alaskan Triangle?
That's a lot of people.
Okay.
That is a lot of people. And I actually don't like the framing of this article because to be fair, what they're saying isn't incorrect, but it's very close-minded. Unlike the Bermuda Triangle, statistics back up fears of the Alaskan Triangle. The overhyped perils of the Bermuda Triangle have become the stuff of modern-day folklore. Fewer people, however, know about the so-called Alaska Triangle, said to be the location of more unsolved missing persons cases than anywhere else in the world. The Alaska Triangle is a loosely defined area in the state between 3 points of Anchorage and Juneau in the south, and a small remote found nailed it. Yeah, found on the northern coast. It's estimated that well over 20,000 people have vanished in this vast swath of land since the early 70s. Considering how sparsely populated the area is, that's a shockingly high rate. For the whole of Alaska, it works out to be an average of 2,250 people disappearing every year, twice the national average, many of which appear to occur in this triangle of ultra-rugged land. Some of the highest profile people to go missing in the Alaska Triangle are Thomas Hale Boggs Sr., who was serving as the U.S. House Majority Leader, and Nick Bike, an Alaska congressman. The two politicians disappeared October 16th in 1972 when flying in a light aircraft from Anchorage to Juneau alongside Bike's aide. Russell Brown.
That's fucking crazy.
Yes. I won't go any further. Let's comment on that for a sec. Because, yes, that's bananas.
You know, that's not like, oh, this is just like some mayor out in, no, this is a major figurehead.
Like in line for the presidency if enough people in a row get knocked off.
That's crazy.
Yes. This dude was a big deal in fucking, American politics.
How does that even happen?
It's funny you say that. We don't know. It's an unsolved missing persons case.
Dude, that did not go well for the Secret Service. That was like, what do you mean he's just gone?
Yeah.
Or the Secret Service know he's just gone, and they know why he's just gone.
That's very true too.
Yeah.
Someone put a hit out on him. Holy crap.
The two politicians disappeared October 16, 1972, when flying a light aircraft from Anchorage to Juneau alongside Bike's aide, Russell Brown, and the pilot, Don Johns. So this is, the area known, for the Alaskan Triangle. A massive search effort was launched to find the four missing people, but the bodies nor the plane were ever discovered. Given these mysterious circumstances, the incident sparked a number of conspiracy theories. Boggs was a member of the Warren Commission and the official body set up of the investigative the assassination of JFK, and reportedly disagreed with many of the group's findings. Yeah, we have a conspiracy crossovers here. This one has to do with aliens. Mount McKinley's involved. We've got the JFK assassination, Project Stargate. Some people have tried to link it to HARP and the controlling of the weather. Now, that is not true. I'm just going to spoil out the gate. There is no connection to HARP and the controlling of the weather, but that is real. HARP, weather control, weather manipulation, all that is real. Watch me and Sammy's episode we did on that. It's one of the best ones we've ever done. But the point is, this one gets wacky. Another prominent case was Gary Frank Sutherland, a 25-year-old New Yorker who traveled to the Alaskan wilderness in the mid-70s to go hunting, but never returned home. In the summer of 1997, a hunter found a human skull along the Porcupine River in northeastern Alaska, from which DNA was recovered in 2022. State troopers later concluded the skull belonged to Sutherland, most likely died at being mauled by a bear. So, point is, we got 20,000 people since the 70s go missing there. Instead of mystical forces, and this is where I don't like the way the article frames it, because they don't open their mind enough. Instead of mystical forces and otherworldly explanations, it is self-evident that the remote patches of Alaska are a very easy place to disappear within. There are more caribou than people in Alaska. It is the most sparsely populated state at just 730,000 people live in Alaska, meaning just 1/20th of 1% of the state is inhabited. The rest
doesn't explain why a plane disappears.
Yeah.
Exactly. The rest is relatively untouched wilderness, complete with ragged mountain ranges, glaciers, bitterly cold weather, millions of lakes, countless crevices, vast valleys, and lots of bears. Some out there theories suggest the Alaska Triangle is the site of unusual magnetic activity or a high number of extraterrestrial alien visitors. However, simpler and more likely explanations are easily at hand. Your chances of going missing in a vast and empty land full of natural dangers are relatively high. Now, again, that's true. What they're saying at the end here to quote unquote debunk it, that's not untrue.
Yes.
However, let's not pretend that that's not fucking weird. Yeah. 20,000 people in a state, by the way. So many of these are out-of-staters. I did the math. I checked the statistics for Alaska. Less than half of those 20,000 are actually Alaskan natives. So that means over half the people that go missing are people who are, again, coming into Alaska from outside of, from outside the state. That is shocking. I mean, again, Speaker of the fucking House.
You would think
Yeah.
this would warrant like an investigation, not just going, oh, it's probably bears.
But why wouldn't they investigate?
Yes.
Because maybe there actually is something going on here.
Maybe it is the bears.
But yeah, the point is to say like, oh, it's just easy to get lost there. Yes, it is. But 2 times the national average, 20,000 people, several of them being high profile. And then it mentions something interesting at the very end, which was, and they also claim there's a lot of UFO sightings in Alaska, in the Alaskan Triangle. Well, guess what? We do our fucking research on this show. Let me show you guys because they said that in such a dismissive fucking way. This is just for the state of Alaska, the number of UFO sightings. Now, watch how long this takes.
What the fuck?
Wait for it. Still going.
Holy
still going.
shit.
Still going. By the way, wait for it. That's page 1 of 7.
What the fuck?
Alaska.
And these are recent?
No, these are no, these are I don't think they're recent. What's the right now we're in 2019. Let's see what the final the last date is. Oh shit, they're not in alphabetical order, or they're not in numerical order. 1995. So I don't know when the reporting starts.
Wait, can you highlight the report?
Either way.
Does it? Yeah, okay, there it goes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
So this is starting with 95. So 95, again, page 1, this is the last page, so it's the shortest, but we'll go ahead.
Okay, so relatively recent.
Yeah, we're talking the last 30 years, give or take. Last 30 years. So that is 7 pages of that length of UFO sightings. I checked. Alaska has some of the highest UFO sightings in the world, not in the US, in the fucking world. Like, it is such a disproportionate amount of UFO sightings in Alaska compared to their population. It's bananas.
Jeez.
I didn't know this.
I didn't either until doing the research for this.
Wow.
Alaska is chock fucking full of UFO sightings. Now, to play skeptic here, there's also some weirdness of there's some explainability to the weirdness in Alaska. Alaska has very low visibility because of the where it is in the world. So all the snow, the debris, things like that. They've got the aurora borealis, so people can. So there's also a lot of military bases. So these UFOs could be military tech. So there are things to explain probably many of these, like between the weather conditions, between all the military bases, drone tech, between the auroras, like there are.
Well, I mean, keep in mind there's also parts in Alaska where you have the 30 days of night, where it's just so there's plenty of things, and if you think that wouldn't screw with your senses, it definitely would. But that's still an outrageously high number,
and that's my point. Is that like, yes, I get that you're trying that other article was trying to say like, look at these dummies and whatnot. They think that UFOs doing this. Okay, if it's so, you got a number that high with a location that's so sparsely populated as Alaska, so very few people comparatively to the rest of the U.S. Like, they can't every single. Odds are not every single one of them is like a hoax. Like, again, UFO just means unidentified flying object. It doesn't mean it's a fucking ET. It could be some unknown government, tech. That's still a UFO.
Right. Unexplained. So, yeah, okay. Makes sense.
So, yeah, I mean, that is Just absolutely banana shit. I had no idea about that much about Alaska when doing this. So when you've got those two things together, well, it's more than two things. But let's run through what we've learned so far. So supposedly there's a secret base under a secret ancient black pyramid larger than the Pyramid of Giza under the ice of Alaska. All right, we don't know necessarily if it's alien tech, old style civilization tech, but it's reported that it generates its own power, whether it be electricity, something else. The military knows about it. The military is trying to shut people up about it. The Speaker of the fucking House in the 70s goes missing, oddly enough, in that area. It's got more UFO sightings than damn near anyone else in the fucking world, and definitely per capita in the world. I won't lie. I don't know about a Black Pyramid or nothing, but I'm convinced some fucking shit's going on in Alaska.
Oh,
I
for
never
sure.
want to visit.
Absolutely. Oh no, I've always wanted to see parts of Alaska, but
Too scary for me.
And by the way, Ryder Sail Away, yeah, it is the largest state by a wide margin. It's twice the size of Texas.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Landmass wise, yes.
Yes.
Obviously, in population, it's actually one of the smallest. But yeah, landmass wise, I think, is it that much bigger than California?
Yeah.
Either way, it's the largest, and that's what matters.
Yeah, it's the largest.
And highlight Jake's comment, please. Bingo, bango, bongo.
Yes.
Ideal location for clandestine operations. Why do you think that's where HARP was set up? If you want to be controlling the fucking weather, doesn't it make sense to control the weather where people aren't going to catch you controlling the fucking weather? Again, watch our HARP episode.
It's yeah, and where the conditions are also a little too harsh and dangerous to people to just happen upon certain things that you're doing. Yeah, it makes total sense. But yeah, even HARP was a great example because people kind of noticed. It was like, hey, there's like some weird cloud formations. It was like, no one's seeing that for miles. This is America's Siberia.
Yeah, it really is. And again, we're not even to whether the Black Pyramid is real or not. Just with the evidence we have right here, I don't know what's going on in Alaska, but don't you think we can all fairly say something is going on in Alaska?
Is there a lack of satellite footage or like pictures for Alaska? Like, is there designated zones?
So there's plenty of footage. Do you mean of Alaska in general, or like specifically where the Black Pyramid is supposedly?
Did you read Gordon's post?
Yeah, 4.3 times the size of California. That is, I thought it was a joke at first. It was Gord, and I read it. And I was like, oh my god, no, he's actually giving us correct, like just straight up facts. Anyway, sorry, continue. What were you saying, Cindy?
No, I was wondering if there's like any blotted out sections in Alaska that we just for whatever reason cannot.
There supposedly was in the maps in the 90s from what I was reading, but that doesn't seem to be the case now.
Mm-hmm.
So why that would have been the case in maps then? And again, I found several accounts of blacked out sections of Alaska on the map in the 90s, like several different accounts talking about it. I didn't see any pictures of it. Now, it could just be because I was setting all this up today, and maybe I could have done more research. Maybe I could have found some. That very well could be on me from a research perspective. But
no, they posed that's where some of these people like got curious is because the area that the pyramid's in is blacked out, and that's because of that seismic activity from the China tests. He was like, oh, it's in this area. Why is this area blacked out? And even sometimes when you look at like satellite views, like Google Earth and everything, it's still blacked out. It won't let you zoom in.
And the problem with the supposed like, hey, here's the images we have from satellite stuff of the the Dark Pyramid of Alaska. I mean, it could just be a rock formation, or maybe it is a pyramid. Like it's so grainy and stuff, it's hard to know, so I don't want to put stock into it. Fun fact, Alaska covers about 665.3 thousand square miles. If it covered about 700 more, y'all would rightly be freaked out. If it covered 700 more, y'all would rightly be
666.
Oh, because 666. Oh, that's clever. That's clever.
There he is. There's the Pumpkin King doing his pumpkin thing.
Yeah, he's I am asking ChatGPT if there are sections of Alaska that you cannot see with satellite imagery, and if there's any specifically in the Alaskan Triangle.
Let me know what it says. And in the interim,
And then all of a sudden you're gonna hear.
let's bring up this player right here. I told you she'd be a key figure in this story. Linda Moulton Howe. Now, she is an interesting person. Does anybody know her resume, or am I the only one?
No, I don't know anything about it.
I've never heard of her.
Well, she's looked at nowadays as a kook. She does a lot of stuff with, like the History Channel, and she's a huge UFO researcher and stuff like that. And look, I won't say she's a kook. She's definitely a person that goes into these stories as someone who believes them, as somebody who wants them to be true. So she is biased in her coverage of ufology and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't always the case, and that also doesn't mean she's wrong. It just means she's going in with a bias. So that being said, the way she got her start, she was a legitimate investigative journalist, always has been. In fact, she won an Emmy in the 80s for her documentary on cattle mutilations. This one right here, which I want to watch, I've not seen, A Strange Harvest from 1979.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yeah, she won an Emmy for this. It's a documentary doing real investigative journalism on the string and slew of cattle mutilations that had happened throughout farmland in America. She was an incredible journalist. The thing is, and not to say she isn't now, but she's definitely more of she's really bought into a lot of the stuff that she's researched into and that she's done her journalism on. So I do think that the bias has probably affected her later work, if I'm being charitable. But I mean, that doesn't alter the fact that she's put out several documentaries. She's, again, I wouldn't call her a kook. I would call her biased. That's just me. So I want to show you guys a little clip interview of what she did with the History Channel. Before we do, the thoughts on just, again, you're going off my secondhand information, but what your thoughts on Linda Howe would be?
I mean, plenty of people made significant discoveries going in with some sort of bias. It's part of, it is what it is. As long as you're doing it scientifically, it's just called a hypothesis. So I have no issue if she wants to believe. It also seems that she's given a lot of her journalistic life studying these things. She's probably seen some shit.
And real quick, not that it has anything to do with the show, but I do want to just point this out because Zark, I hate to break it to you. I love Grok. Everybody loves Grok. We love X. We love Elon. We love free speech. Grok is not as good as ChatGPT in terms of giving you factual information. I ran many a test between the two. Grok gets shit wrong far more often than ChatGPT does. Grok might be more based, and that's awesome and whatnot, but when it comes to factual information, Grok fucks up far more.
Well, that's a great segue because I do have an answer. There's a lot to it, but this one snippet for just the Alaskan Triangle. It says the triangle is commonly described as the area between. I did not find evidence that it matches some special no satellite imagery area. Since Alaska's public statewide imagery covers the whole state, the triangle is inside that area that are publicly imaged too. So the answer is basically no. The Alaska Triangle is not a known satellite blind spot, even though parts of it can look blurry, dark, cloudy, snowy, or older in some maps.
See, and it's funny that brings up some maps. Again, from what I was reading, maybe it was just simple blurriness as to why people assumed that certain things were blacked out in the 90s, or maybe it really was. Things have changed. Don't know, but that's good information to have going forward. Thank you. And then let's watch this little 4-minute clip from the History Channel because I want you guys to get a vibe for both the Black Pyramid story and for Howe herself.
Albuquerque, New Mexico, February 28th, 2024.
The Black Pyramid was determined to be some type of a power generation system.
For decades, government and military insiders have shared their extraterrestrial encounters with Linda Moulton Howe. And through her Earth Files podcast, Linda has been able to get their stories out to the public without exposing their identities.
A man who heard my July 2012 Coast to Coast AM broadcast about the underground Dark Pyramid in Alaska called and told me that his once military pilot father had secretly flown in a civilian Huey helicopter to the underground pyramid site between Nome and Mount Denali. He said his father was told that the Black Pyramid was more secret than the Manhattan atomic bomb project in World War II.
Linda Moulton Howe learned how to cultivate sources, protect sources, and as a result, people would share information with her, sensitive information that they didn't know what else to do with.
People go to her. They trust her. A lot of these military guys, they really single her out. They know she's very, very smart, very dogged in her persistence, and she will track a story down to its conclusion.
I have had so many people who have come to me from military backgrounds, from classified backgrounds, and they had to show me IDs because I made that clear. If you want to talk to me from a military point of view, you must at least show me a DD-214.
Now, to her credit, by the way, from everything I've read, everything I've seen, this is true. She supposedly, I say supposedly, she does. Now, whether what they're showing her is real or not, who's to say? What she does, if you're going to give her a story, claim her military, the whole nine, require proof of your service, your rank, all that.
I mean, like you said, she doesn't appear to be a crackpot. Looks like she's doing her due diligence. She just has.
She's going in with a bias.
Yeah,
that happens.
I don't know. I kind of find it charming.
I like her. I do.
Yeah, ID.
Linda has gained incredible insight from the whistleblowers who have shared their stories with her over the years.
Hey, what's
and
up,
in
buddy?
one instance, the account of a military insider led to the discovery of a previously unknown phenomenon. November 24th, 1996. In a regular half-hour science segment on Art Bell's Dreamland, Linda conducts an interview with former Air Force First Lieutenant Robert Solis, who tells an incredible story.
One of the guards said there was a UFO hovering right outside the front gate, glowing red, and it appeared to be saucer-shaped. And he wanted to know what to do. He was frightened.
Solis was stationed at the Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana and was in charge of a launch control facility when on March 24th, 1967, multiple Air Force personnel witnessed a large UFO appear over the Minuteman missile system.
All of a sudden, we hear these horns go off, loud horns, which we knew what that meant, that there was a problem. We looked over at the board. This was a bank of lights, and missiles started going from operational to no-go in seconds.
Holy
we lost all
shit.
kind of right in rapid succession while this object was still up there.
The information shared by Lieutenant Robert Solis struck a chord with Linda, as she had heard a very similar account nearly 2 decades earlier from her own brother.
In November of 1975, late at night, the phone rang. It was my brother, who was in the U.S. Air Force stationed at Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana on a Minuteman missile site. Everybody, including him, see 300 feet diameter, estimated, orange fluorescent light. It was right over one of the Minuteman missiles. So I have that as a personal experience with my own brother.
So that's a bit of the information. And so now again, that wasn't all about the Black Pyramid, but I wanted you guys just to kind of have an idea about who she was, the reporting she does, and we're gonna tie this back to the player in the game that brought the story to her about the pyramid, which was Doug Mutschler. So before we do that, what do y'all think so far?
I mean, cool. I don't really have enough to form an opinion on it yet. I was like, I've heard tons of stories like that from military men where they're Foo Fighters, just stuff they can't explain, but the one on the base was very interesting though, where it was like didn't seem to be doing anything violent, but it did take out all the defense systems though, which is the best defense.
Cindy, what about you?
It's fascinating that even her brother was like, "Yeah, we see some shit over on the base," and it's just like, holy crap! I don't even know what I would do if my siblings were like, "Okay, so I've seen some stuff," and then explained it in great detail.
Well, to be fair, I know exactly what you do because your sister's a bitch. You just be like, yeah, whatever, and move on.
Okay, if I had a really cool older brother, my sister is
you would tell me you're
crazy.
Leon.
True.
That is one thing that I actually don't buy in all of this.
Really?
I don't think they're letting these, if something was just sighted over base like that, I don't think they're letting phone calls leave the base.
So now here's,
I never thought of that.
I'm glad you bring that up. And Zark said something earlier in the chat. He said, wouldn't this be top secret information? Wouldn't this be classified? We're going to get to that. But before we get to that, y'all, I told you that I had found something that I've never heard anybody else report on before, something new.
Yes.
Or at least what I think is new, because I did a lot of research into this today. I did not say whether it be the History Channel, whether it be the Y-Files, whether it be all the various random internet reportings on this. I've not seen anybody mention this detail we're about to get into. So first things first, we got to talk about Doug Mutschler. Now, Doug Mutschler is the guy that broke this story to her. He is referenced as a counterintelligence warrant officer for the U.S. military, right?
Okay.
Hold on. I'm sorry for this. Do you think when he gave her this information, she said, "Thank you very much, Mutschler"?
You're so retarded. Oh, goodness.
Holy shit, I'm gonna come.
Which way's the exit? That way?
All right. No, that was good. I liked that. That was good. Well done. So Doug, she sits down. She does this interview with Mr. Mutschler. What was it she said that she always does?
Checks the paperwork.
Correct.
Identification.
Now, I would like to first draw your eyes to this right here. This is this is available to the public. It is 212 pages. I read a lot of it. I did not read the whole 212 pages for this, but I did read a lot. The United States Department of Defense and intelligence community are withholding information about anomalous phenomenon from Congress.
Ooh.
So basically, people in the military are not telling about UFOs. Yeah, we've heard all this. I mean, I'm pretty sure
feel that's
covered,
fair, though.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've covered Michael Schellenberger on the show before. I know we have. We've definitely covered Michael Schellenberger on the show before. And when you look up Doug Mutschler, he is referenced in this. He is referenced in this September 28th, 2021. He is the only time he's referenced. There's a bunch of other people referenced as well and whatnot. But he is official enough to be cited in the. By the way, this is from basically the State Department. This is docs.house.gov. So this is an official, government meeting piece of material that you can read, that is available to the public. No redactions, nothing like that. Which is already interesting because, the government don't ever tell us shit.
No, they do not.
So when she said that she always verifies people's military credentials, I thought, well then, and by the way, every single story and reporting on this you hear also says that he has credentials verified. So I thought, well then it shouldn't be hard to verify his credentials. So I thought, all right, Douglas Allen Mutschler military service. And I did it on Google. I did it on DuckDuckGo. I ran it through ChatGPT. Everything I came up with said that it's reported that he has this, but we've never seen his credentials publicly. So that was strange. So when I was looking through this, I got Douglas L. Mutschler. Douglas Lee Mutschler, who was a World War II fighter pilot who was KIA, killed in action. So why did I not find anything on Douglas Allen Mutschler? Even when I search Douglas Allen Mutschler, I get Douglas Lee Mutschler, World War II. And yet I type in, you get the Black Pyramid, whatever, but he was sergeant with 10th Air Force in India. I mean, Douglas Lee Mutschler. Needless to say, throughout this whole thing, I could not find any proof that the guy that broke the story to her in 2012 actually does have a record of military service.
So what did she get as proof that he was real?
Well, what? Now, this is where the new stuff comes in. Well, technically, all of that was new. Because, again, I've never heard anyone even bring up Douglas Lee Mutschler. I've never seen anyone. So,
well, I mean, they showed a picture of him in his uniform, too. And that's obviously a younger picture of him.
Well, so here's my thoughts. Y'all ever heard of Richard Doty? We've talked about him on the show before. He deserves his own episode. We will talk about him at some point. Does anybody know who Richard Doty is?
Is that the Russian...
No, you're probably thinking Yuri Bezmenov.
That's who I'm thinking of.
I don't remember. I'm terrible with names.
Richard C. Doty is... So he was a guy that... He was a CIA disinformation artist. Right. He was paid by the government to go to UFO conventions and claim he had UFO experiences and tell his UFO stories, and they were all fake. The CIA... He was on CIA payroll. They had him go around to all these UFO conventions to basically throw people who were studying UFOs and whatnot off the track. So he was a CIA psyop to the UFO community.
Oh.
My theory is that this guy, this Douglas Mutschler guy, is not Douglas Mutschler. I'm wondering, this is my personal theory, he might be a CIA guy or some sort of military guy. The government is going in, sending to Miss Howe here, and basically feeding her false information, much to her chagrin. Yeah, he's got all these details and documents and whatnot. They're just slightly altered or varied or whatnot based off this old school World War II guy who was a real soldier. That makes sense?
That's crazy.
So what if all this, like everything, the Black Pyramid of Alaska, all that, it's not real. He's feeding her this story to throw her off the track of what they are, whatever it is that they are actually doing.
Because he doesn't want people Naruto running in Alaska.
I like Jake's comments, please. His most recent one. Bingo, bango, bongo. And he knew she wanted to believe it all. That's why I brought up her bias earlier. Because she goes into this wanting to believe it, because she is a good journalist who verifies information and whatnot. Now, good journalist or not, you're not going to know if the government's giving you fake information. I mean, that's going to take probably a lot to clear. If you target somebody who's known to be a known believer, and then you make her just say, hey, she's really well believed. She's got her own podcast. She goes way back with Art Bell. She's an Emmy award-winning journalist. If we can fake her out and she can spread all this information, it'll fake others out. You know what I'm saying?
Holy shit. That makes sense.
Now, again, I got no evidence for any of this. It was just my own theory that I came up with while doing the research, but I find it highly suspect that I could not find any proof of this guy's military service beyond... We have proof that he was in the military, but nothing beyond that. His rank, his where he was stationed, nothing.
And I ran it through Grok and ChatGPT. He doesn't exist.
Yeah, so, he's got spook written all over him.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think the Black Pyramid is real. I think that whatever the Black Pyramid story is, say the word with me, boys. Say the word, chat.
PSYOP.
Bingo, bango, bongo. PSYOP. Whatever this is, it's to make us focus on this Dark Pyramid story to avoid whatever the fuck else they're doing. Because again, man, Alaska, real goddamn close to Russia. We got military bases all over there. There really are all those UFO sightings. All that is real. We don't know what it correlates to, but it is all real.
Yeah, but you know what else is real too?
What?
20,000 people have disappeared in that area.
20,000 people have disappeared over the last since the 70s.
So the fuck is going on over there?
That's what I'm
the
saying.
question. What's going on in Alaska? I think we can be almost certain there is not a dark pyramid, but
So, like,
something is happening.
I've read many stories about people who like climbed Everest, and they'll find bodies of people who attempted to climb Everest.
Yes, that's a very normal thing. It's actually quite. People use the bodies as markers at this point. Some of the bodies have like names and shit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And you guys want to know that? By the way, this could just be YouTube being YouTube. I got a little error message saying that they were gonna flag the show and take it down for showing that History Channel footage. I let it play out anyway just to see what would happen to the show. It didn't end up getting taken down, but I did get a pop-up message on my OBS saying, "Hey, you're viewing copyright material. YouTube might take your show down."
Oh wow!
Shit.
So that's again probably unrelated, but
Yeah,
just
but
thought worth mentioning.
It's still transformative. What the fuck?
So
No,
we're
but
sure
I'm-
that the government conducting tests. No, we're not sure. Netflix.
No.
And by the way, we have not covered Tuskegee yet on this channel. I talk about it as often as I can because I love Tuskegee. It's hey, thanks for the sub,
Mr. Joe.
Mr. Joe. I talk about. We've talked about Tuskegee multiple times in reference to other things. We have not given Tuskegee its own episode yet, mainly because I don't know how to angle it in a way that's different than anyone else because that one is 100% true. And it's harder to do the ones that are 100% true because, well, they're true. So there's nothing to really to figure out. It would just be like telling you guys a history story. But yeah, I do want to cover Tuskegee at some point. But anyway, so yeah, that's my big takeaway from this. The Dark Pyramid is not real. Sorry, guys. That might burst your bubble. However, it's actually worse because something else is happening and we don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. Like I was saying, you know, when you climb Mount Everest, you see the remnants of things. 20,000 people don't go missing without a trace. You don't just misplace a Boeing 747.
Technically, this was a private jet, so it would have been smaller. But either way,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
like,
Either way.
Yeah, either way, especially a private, like, guys, you got to remember, the Speaker of the House. Bro, the whole goddamn world would have been looking for him unless they wanted the motherfucker missing.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Now,
he wandered too close to something and they had to get rid of him.
Yup. My thought process, there's something in Alaska worth, whether it be a pyramid or whatnot. I mean, again, I like the ancient civilization angle because I'm one of those that believes, pre-Younger Dryas, ancient civilizations, all that.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Göbekli Tepe. I like the idea of the ancient civilization. I would believe that more than I believe aliens would being real. But I don't even think that's true. I think there's some fucked up shit going on in Alaska. And whatever it is way worse than a dark pyramid under the permafrost.
Holy shit, that's creepy.
Yeah. And just me and Sammy, because I don't remember if you were just missed the show, if it was before you joined the show or not, Cindy. When me and Sammy covered the radiation experiments on children and fetuses and shit, like, we know that the U.S. government does some just gross shit. So
no, she was on the show at that point. She just wasn't there.
She just wasn't there for that episode. Okay.
Yeah.
So the point is, after reading shit like that, I wouldn't put it past him at all to just resurrect a fucking dead World War II pilot and just give his identity to this guy and have him fake his credentials, basically being, again, another Richard Doty.
To this day, that is the only show where I ever think, like, why we were doing it. I sent you a message in the private chat. It was like, dude, this is really fucking bumming me out.
Yeah, you were performing like shit that show, and I was really getting annoyed. Then you sent that in the private chat. I was like, oh, I feel bad for being annoyed at him now. Yes, Devil in Red's correct. We actually covered that in the episode we were talking about, the radiation experiment episode. We covered this exact thing, the bioweapon they tested on Florida. Yes,
that's crazy.
Yeah, dude, that was when, like, the veil totally dropped, or it was like, I knew the government was into some dark shit, but I didn't think that they'd be like
that dark of shit.
So I don't really have anything else to say on the subject. That pretty much wraps up the episode. Like, we could go on and on about like, oh, the alien stuff, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's worth it because I don't think any of that's real compared to this, which is why I didn't want to focus too much on that. The actual, I went into this thinking we were going to cover the Dark Pyramid, and then when I went down this rabbit hole of the Mutschler guy, I was like, ooh, this is actually far more concerning and far more believable. So I don't know. I'm more or less wrapped with the episode. You guys give final thoughts if you guys have any opinions.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I completely agree with that.
It was definitely a good find for sure.
Why, thank you. Yeah, I'm kind of proud of myself. This is
you should be.
This one went heavy. Looking at Jesse Ventura when his TV show uncovered. I used to watch Jesse Ventura's show all the time, actually. Yeah, now the problem with Jesse Ventura is that he would also say ridiculous shit like, Lee Harvey Oswald couldn't have made that shot when it absolutely could have been made. I'm not saying Lee Harvey Oswald was a solo shooter. I don't believe he was whatsoever. But like Jesse Ventura tried to make it sound like it was impossible for anyone to make that shot. Bitch, I could make that shot. I'm only a decent shot. What did Niat have to say? I saw Niat pop up there. Of course, the government is in dark shit. Obama's president. Here I was thinking, it's Niat. It's gonna be something insightful. No, it was a joke. Well done, Niat. Have you board taught lately?
There's a conspiracy in chat now because we had Gordy say something insightful, and now we had Niat say something uninsightful.
Oh my god,
what's happening?
They Freaky Friday.
I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
Yeah, Johnny, we actually haven't covered JFK on the channel. We were going to, and then me and Sammy realized what a massive undertaking it was. We're like, we're not ready for this yet because JFK was a huge
it's the
one.
same thing. Like we'll have conversations with the other, and we'll like brainstorm, throws ideas out, and like one of the ones we wanted to cover is like the Freemasons, right? And it was like, okay, but what part of the Freemasons?
Right, the Freemasons is like you could just do your own podcast on just the Freemasons, like that single show. Like you just have a podcast every episode dedicated to the Freemasons. I don't even know the fucking
you do a podcast on JFK for sure. It was like the only way to have a conversation about something that massive is just to pick a very specific thing and narrow it down. So yeah, it was like, yeah, okay. If you want to say it was Israel, then we'll find the stuff saying that it was Israel. And if you want to talk about, I don't even know where to start with the Freemasons. It was like how they're on every landmark in our entire country, or there's probably
and all over the European world and a lot of parts of the Islamic world, and like
there's entrances we don't know about to shit, and okay, let's.
But yeah, all in all, that's pretty much the takeaway here is that you guys, I'm so glad that we did have we've been trying to cover this subject for 2 months, and we finally got around to it, and boy howdy, did it go a very different direction than I thought it did. This is one of those episodes that I'm actually worried will get taken down. I don't know. But with that being said,
it will be immortalized on Kick, so make sure you join Leon's Kick.
Oh,
that being said, you guys have anything to add, or are we going to do some outros?
If you must Naruto run to the Black Pyramid, beware it's riddled with bears.
And caribou.
That's true. That's true. And caribou. Alrighty, Cindy. Tell the people who you are, what you do, what you got coming up, the whole 9.
Well, cuties, I have my own stream later tonight at 11:50 p.m. CST. I will be playing Dead Space. I'm on chapter 8 or 9. I'm pretty far in. It's been a hell of a ride. Stop yawning, Sammy. You're making me want to yawn.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. And then I'll be back on Wednesday as well. I will be playing Stellar Blade. It's been a while. Other than that, you guys can catch me on my own channel. You guys can catch me on Beamon's Arts channel, and you can catch me on Leon's channel 3 times a week. So looking forward to seeing you cuties later.
You'll love to see it. Thank you so much, girly. And but like I just said in chat before Sammy goes, guys, don't go anywhere. We will be raiding into a girl, Sevi. She's playing Mouse PI. We're going to raid into her both on YouTube and on Kick. Yes, we'll be doing a Kick raid as well. I've sort of gotten the hang of that. So yeah, stick around. I want you all to give her a nice little Vital Idol raid. Sammy, tell the people who you are, what you do, what you got going on, and the whole nine.
Well, taking a little break from music. I've been sick lately, so I'm giving my voice a chance to heal. But been screwing around with OBS, so I think I'm gonna actually start getting some gameplay videos in, and just to spice up the content a little bit. And I have been dying to play Mouse PI. So
yes,
it's like one of my 5 most awaited games of the year, and I think I'm going to get some beta play of Into the Unwell. I'm waiting to get approved for that. So
that's one of my dude. If you get beta play, don't tell me anything about it. Hey, thank you so much, Dargan Bell. Except for whether you like it or not, because that's also one of my top awaited games this year. It was Mouse PI, a game called Ground Zero, which nobody's playing, pisses me off. And then Into the Unwell. Those like my big 3 of the year. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I'm pretty stoked on that. I will let you know, and I will Soul Assassin. I will be a 1940s noir detective.
You mean like what? Nope, wrong one. You mean like this?
Oh, well, you know what?
Oh, that looks so cool.
Yeah, that does look pretty sweet.
Yeah, pretty happy with this. Anyway,
yeah, that'll do it.
Now, if you can get just the animation of like smoke coming off that cigarette, that looks sick.
Well, it does have animation to it. I have old like 1930s.
Yeah, no, I see that. Now you just need a smoke animation.
Yeah, I do need some smoke animation.
It's just when she walked in, I told her I was a pirate. She didn't believe me.
Or like a glow on the cigarette.
As for me, guys, videos and streams every day. Although there might not be a video tomorrow just because my video is doing so good today. I'm kind of hoping to carry that momentum into tomorrow. I don't want to get stagnated if I put another video out. So we'll see. I'm undecided. Maybe or maybe not a video tomorrow. We will, of course, be doing the lunch hour as we always do on Wednesdays. Not only are we're going to cover Sevi's video about the Capcom mod situation. Apparently, that dumb broad from Timcast tried to make some sort of let me explain video about her dumbass pragmatic take. We're going to cover that. We're going to get into the realms of the politics, nerd culture. You guys know how the fucking lunch hour goes, so make sure to check that out tomorrow. That being said, we're going to raid in to our girl Sevi. I want both on Kick and on YouTube, so I want everybody to go over there and say Vital Idol Raid. And thank you so much to everybody that showed up. This was a great episode. Thank you to everybody that donated. It means the absolute loyal to me. And until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.